Hello and welcome to Slade on Slade. I am Keith. This is my incredibly beautiful wife, Leslie. And today we're going to be talking about dealing with loss. So there should be a big warning that should pop up and blink, 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 blink. If you are sensitive and or easily upset, this might not be a video because everybody deals with loss differently. And I, for one, don't like it. I am also the writer of the upcoming book, The House of Ribbons, which is due out sometime in mid-2021. You will find it in Amazon and like a dozen other digital platforms, including paperback, because everybody loves paperback. I like to hold it in my hands, smell it.
I would prefer a paperback book than a... So when writing about loss, do you jump right into a character losing somebody, or do you build up the loss?
I mean, like start off the book? As
Yeah.
he stood over her corpse, he realized he made a mistake.
Yes.
He should have not have killed his twin sister, because in actuality, he had killed himself. Something lame like that?
Yeah.
No, you got to build up that. You want to, with my characters and the ones that have fallen to the axe, so to speak, you want to know the character a little bit, a lot, very intimately, somewhere in between. So when they die, you'd be like, oh man, that kind of sucks. You know, you want that. You want the person to be like, you know, I want to kill off one character so I get somebody to stalk me at my house and try to pull a misery on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. No, I don't. I want her to be a sexual sadist. He's like, I'm gonna pinch you too hard and say dirty shit to you. I don't really want that either. I don't know. I don't know. Taking applications now.
You want to make them care about the character that dies. Because
Yeah,
if you have a random death, then it doesn't mean anything to
I don't really deal with loss very well anyways, especially when, if you don't write, I don't know how to explain it, but if you do write, you will understand this. When you've created someone and some of my characters have 4 and 5 pages of notes on just the weirdest little things, because I'm like that. I geek out on shit like that. So I wrote that in case these books took off really well and people like, I want to know what he likes for cereal on a Tuesday morning. Well, fuck it, it's Captain Crunch Blueberry. That's 2 different cereals mixed together. But when a character has to pass away, man, I don't take that really well. A lot of writers don't like losing characters because the character in itself, you've given birth to it on page, and you've given it a life, and it's lived inside your mind, and now all of a sudden it doesn't live anymore, and it's the finality of it. I don't like. That's why I don't like fucking, relationships, because then when they break up, that's essentially a death of a relationship. I don't like finality of anything.
Mm-hmm. When the character is hurting, do you want to isolate that character?
No.
And why?
Well, for me personally, one of the lead characters, when he goes through his first death in the book, he wants to isolate, but he has people around him, and which intensifies his feelings of the loss and the regret. And I just think it was easier to tell it from an exposition point of view. If they just go off, you got like The Hobbit, where they just walk in endlessly and he's mumbling to himself like, I could have done better.
Yeah. You also don't want them to isolate because you want it to feel realistic, and you're never going to be able to isolate yourself in the real world.
No.
So.
I can.
Well, that's because we got the huge house, but.
Well, you got some of your friends, and it's easy to isolate because I just like make them feel super awkward. Like, hey, how you doing today? What's going on? Like, you got that one friend that doesn't like me getting too close, but then she talks to me and stares at me like really weird. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I mention anything about sex, she's all like, I get it. You don't have a vagina. She's super awkward.
So my next question is for you. Should you push a character forward in your book?
Yeah. If you don't go forward, you don't have resolution. Whether it be conflict resolution, emotional resolution, or constitutional resolution, I guess. I went political. I'm sorry.
Nobody wants to read a book about a guy that's dealing with loss over one person, or
What, for like the entire book?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple of books out there like that.
I know, but nobody really wants to read.
Jesus
stuff
Christ, you
like
ever watch Pet Cemetery? That's all about like denial of loss. You never read She never read Pet Cemetery. Never even seen the movies.
that.
That book scared the out of me when I was younger. That's a scary book. That's about dealing with like loss in the wrong way.
But what I'm saying is it's not. There's already books out there like that, and it's just going to be the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, we do live in a day and age where originality is a little hard. That's why I really go out of my. I don't want to say go out of my way because it comes natural for me, but I go out of my way to make sure that when I name a person, I give them the most original name. What do we got? Like 30 names that are completely.
Probably more than that.
You know, I mean, that's a lot of Google time. You know, you come up with a name, it sounds good, and you're like, oh, Shelley. And you look it up, and you're like, oh, shit, that's been used since the 1700s. So, you know, I got a couple of names that are just really not easy to pronounce, but we're going to do a whole video about pronunciation of names, and not everybody's human, so.
Yep. Do you give your characters an outlet for grief?
Yeah, you know, my character is new to a lot of things, so the way he grieves is a little different because he doesn't really know
How to?
so how to. Yeah, so it's, you know, he indulges in unhealthy
And
practices, I guess you could call
yes, I would say so. Another question that I have is, does every character grieve the same way?
No, everybody's different. I mean, if you put 1 million people together, you can put people in groups, but you know, everybody's different. You know, and some people just completely ignore the grief. Me, I shut down for about 2 or 3 days whenever I lose somebody. You know, if they're close, you know, just withdraw and then reflect, and you know.
And then the last question I do have for you is should your character be able to move on in your book?
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to move on, unless you just want it to be a relatively bleak ending, like you had asked earlier. Should it be bleak? I don't know. Maybe the guy puts a gun in his mouth and eats a bullet or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just kind of exits out his eye socket, and then he has a cathartic come to God moment. He's like, thank God I'm still alive. And that shit happens to people all the time. You want to read some fucked up shit, read the people who survived their own suicide.
If you do like our content, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button below. All right, that is all we have for you today, so we will see you next time. See ya.
Bye.